This bike has a kind of a layer of sophistication to it. It really does. You can let it wail, you can drop it down to the higher gears, you know, dull the engine sound and just cruise along. There's a sophistication to this bike. It's not erratic. It's powerful. It's got just enough electronics and features on it. It's certainly not dull. This is really cool. You know, not every bike has to be on a knife edge, and so many bikes these days, you know, are built to a knife edge. They've got to be, you know, one level extreme or another. You know, they've got to be a hyper naked or a super sports or whatever. And what you have here is a bike which sits with quite a rare breed of other bikes. The bikes that have absolute loads of power, usable power that you can use and have loads of fun on the road, even on a racetrack. I mean, you know, yeah, you could take this bike on a track and be pleasantly surprised by it. But it is, you know, there is a softness to this machine. There is a comfort level to this machine that you're not going to get on, you know, more extreme super nakeds and some of those more higher powered middleweight nakeds like my MT-09. This is a road bike that has a sporty edge to it, but you can go all day on it if you want to. It doesn't look like much, but that small seat that I'm sitting on is very comfortable. Wouldn't have any issues going for longer miles on this, and that's a great place to park. Just there, that. So to sum up the CB, I do think the CB has a problem, but I don't think it's in, you know, an inherent design fault. It's not a problem with the bike itself. It is to do with, you know, if you're looking at this bike to buy, you're probably going to be looking at other bikes as well, like, you know, the Z900RS from Kawasaki, or perhaps the MT-10 or XSR 900 from Yamaha. There's lots of other machines out there, and on paper, I think the CB might fall a little bit short compared to those other bikes. Other bikes out there, they're going to be perhaps a little bit more powerful, they're going to be cheaper, they're going to have more electronics. The CB kind of sits in the middle. It does, you know, it is about £2,000 more expensive than the Kawasaki Z900RS, which again is a more kind of modern retro bike. Similar to this, the Neo Sports, the futuristic spin on, you know, a classic design. But it's about £2,000 more expensive than the Kawasaki. It used to be compared quite a lot to the MT-10 from Yamaha, but the MT-10 has recently had a huge upgrade, and so in terms of electronics and power output, it's only a few £100 more than the CB now, the MT-10, but you do get so much more for your money. So on paper, I think the CB may fall a bit short, and so if you're comparing bikes and looking, ooh, which one should I get? You might look at the CB and think it's not really a good deal, but on paper it might not match up, but on the road it certainly could match up for you. And that's one thing I've noticed riding this bike. I've been riding it every day through all manner of weather conditions, and it's been super easy, comfortable, reliable, dependable. I've got on this bike and I've had fun on it, even in the wet conditions. I put it in rain mode and I've still had fun and enjoyed it whilst doing it in comfort. Like I've said, not all bikes have to be stuck on a knife edge. This is a bike which has a, you know, an everyday usable comfort level to it. But you wind this engine up, you hit that little revometer above the 8,000 mark. This thing screams at you and howls at you, launches you up to speed, even in rain mode. And I'm going to say, it is too cold, really. I don't want to put this thing in sport mode because, oh, we should really put it in sport mode, shouldn't we? That's what kind of review would this be if I did put it in sport mode? Okay, we're going in sport mode. Let's just hit it, rain mode, user, sport. There we go, we're in sport mode. That's perhaps the biggest disadvantage with the CB, is on paper, if you're comparing, it may not match up and compete with the other bikes that you're looking at in terms of price, power, and electronics. The CB is quite a straightforward electronics package compared to the lean sensitive packages we're getting now on other bikes that are coming out. But take this thing off paper and go out for a ride, and I think you'll be super surprised. Oh, that's great. Oh, that front wheel was trying to lift up then. Yeah, you're going to have no problem. If you're thinking this is a soft super naked, yes, compared to other super nakeds like your big 200 plus horsepower bikes. yeah, compared to those other bikes, fine, you know, whatever, categorize the CB1000R if you must, but just go out for a ride on it. You know, go out for a ride on it. Don't worry about the stats. Enjoy the ride. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Enjoy the ride. I've got to say though, in sport mode, it's a little bit snatchy. A little bit snatchy on that throttle. A little bit snatchy. It's a little bit, yeah, a little bit. Ooh. Be really smooth on that right hand within sport mode. So there you go, a first ride review of the CB1000R Black Edition. This bike was released last year, but you know, I was given the chance to ride this machine, and I was very close to buying a CB1000R before I got my MT-09, so I jumped at the chance to ride and review this bike. So there you have it. Best advice I can give is go out and try this machine. Try not to focus and get too drawn to the stats and how this might be a little bit limited compared to other machines, you know, above and below it in terms of price and power. It's a wonderfully put together bike, lovely balance, lovely comfort with some great finishing touches. So I do hope you've enjoyed this quick ride around. If you have, please give a thumbs up to support the channel. Your support is always appreciated. And if you are new around here, then please make sure to subscribe to see more motorcycle videos. You can also catch me on Instagram, _EddieSetGo. In the meantime, ride safe, stay safe. See you next time.